You know what I hate? Super Mario 64. Here's why. What's crack-a-lackin' Toxic Crew? My name is Toxiquid, and Super Mario 64 has recently come into my life, and I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it! I may be spoiled rotten with quite frankly better 3D platformers with gems like A Hat in Time, Mario Odyssey, and hell, even Banjo-Kazooie, but my god, this game is terrible in my opinion. I know that is a huge claim to make, but I believe I found the root of my problem. It's the controls. They actually just suck. And no, it's not limited to one area, or it's not just one or two main problems, it's everything as a whole. Interested? Here, let me show you my thoughts. Oh, and these are just my opinions. You have yours, I have mine. That should be obvious, don't be an ass. For this section, let's talk about the actual way Mario reacts to your abnormally sized thumb when it manipulates the left stick. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Mario is slippery while moving, like abnormally slippery when compared to his more recent outings. This is a huge problem because it makes doing precise platforming, which is required in some areas, nearly impossible. I cannot tell you how many times I died on that first Bowser level because of how stupidly small the platform is to get that first red coin, but we're gonna get to that later. What the game is telling me with these super slippery Mario controls is that when he starts moving, he wants you to keep moving. What is this, a Sonic game? No wonder we couldn't find Luigi for 21 years. We assumed we were playing as Mario, but clearly we are playing as fucking Luigi because of how slippery he is. Alright, that's enough. That's why we have so many momentum-based attacks like the dive and long jump, as well as the flip jump with the said momentum, as well as stuff like the wall jump, which I consider momentum-based, seeing as in my 2 runs of the game, I could only get it to work with a running start or doing something like a flip jump. Otherwise, I just jump into the wall like a Nimrod, and I don't want to look like a Nimrod in a Mario game, or any game for that matter. In my mind, I consider that just bad game design. The fact of the matter is that Mario clearly was designed for more open area exploration stuff, and that just doesn't mesh well with around a third of the levels, and even more sections and even more levels make this shit unbearable. Legit, I think the only people this benefits are the speedrunners, but considering that I'm experiencing this for the first time in the 3D All-Stars pack, I can't even do all the fancy movements in the first place, so it doesn't really apply to me. I will say that despite the ground control being hella imprecise in my opinion, I really can't say the same thing for the underwater controls. Honestly, I might be already in the small minority by saying this, but I absolutely love the underwater controls. Those, unlike the grounded controls, are not only responsive, but discourage mashing, which I love. It lets you roam around in 3D space better than in the air, yes, we'll get to that too, but I also like the little loophole formed with the restriction of the life bar being the air meter as well, so when you come back to the surface, it all comes back, eliminating the need for coins or those little floating hearts around some levels. I did find myself exploiting the hell out of this, especially when learning the ropes in Jolly Roger Bay. Legit, I think the underwater controls aren't bad at all. Sure, they are a bit slow, but the only issues that I could find are overall speed and the camera. But then again, the camera is a crock of shit, and I will definitely talk about that soon because that's a really big issue in this game. Okay, so we've covered land traversal, we've covered sea traversal, now let's talk sky traversal. And for this one, our only real viable option is the wing cap power up. And my god, this sucks! This might have just been me, but I could never get as high as I wanted to, I stalled out a bunch, and coupled with the horrendous camera in some areas, namely the Secret Castle Star Wing Mario Over the Rainbows, I can safely say that this shit sucks. I could get past the controls in some of these instances if falling off the map in this sub area because I was bonked on a platform when I should have been landed safely boots me out to the outside the goddamn castle, causing me to trudge all the way back up to the top floor, do some parkour to get to that tiny little area because triple jumps don't work for some reason, all to re-attempt it again with these same god-awful controls! I get that it's not used often enough, so making the controls more fluid wasn't exactly the biggest priority for them. I get that they were trying to emulate the Cape Feather from Mario World in 3D, but the context that this power-up used, in my opinion, were handled poorly. Except for one area. And I know I said I'd keep this section brief, but looking how far I've gone already with this section, why not indulge just a little bit more? Shifting Sandland is not my favorite level in the game, not by a wide margin, but it is the best level for the wing cap in my opinion. Why? Because the area is mostly flat. See, how the whole wing cap thing works is like this. You jump up and get a running start and such, see, back to that whole momentum thing I said earlier, and the elevation you are at dictates how high you can go, but not how low you can go. So if you're at a lower elevation trying to reach a high platform, you can't just go from point A to B, nah, you gotta find point C that's in there in between those elevations, because you can't reach that high despite it being called the wing cap. These dinky wings don't allow you to fly, they allow you to glide. Why isn't it called the glide cap? And that's why I love Shifting Sandland so much. Since everything is at roughly the same elevation once you get the wing cap, you basically can roam wherever you want in the level with little to no problem. Sure, getting up to the wing cap area is a pain and a half, but honestly this level is perfect for the wing cap. Hell, even better than the levels that show off the wing cap in the first place. But bad controls alone does not a bad game make, it has to be coupled with two other things, being bad level design and a piss poor camera. So without further ado, let's delve into the level design and showcase how doo-doo bad it is. Yahoo! Woohoo! Let's talk level design. Right off the bat, here's my rankings for each world from worst to best, excluding Castle Stars and the Bowser levels. Number 15, Tick-Tock Clock. 14, Dire Dire Docks. 13, Snowman Land. 12, Wet Dry World. 11, Rainbow Ride. 10, Big Boo's Haunt. 9, Lethal Lava Land. 8, Tiny Huge Island. 7, Cool Cool Mountain. 6, Hazy Maze Cave. 5, Jolly Roger Bay. 4, Whomp's Fortress. 3, Shifting Sandland. 2, Bob on Battlefield. And number 1, Tall Tall Mountain. Yes, I like Tall Tall Mountain. The monkey is funny, don't at me. As most of you who played Mario 64 know, each level has 6 missions with a secret star that shows up after getting 100 coins. Some of these worlds are better than others, namely Dire Dire Docks and Lethal Lava Land are ass at finding 100 coins, and I especially harbor a lot of hatred for Dire Dire Docks because of this. See, there's this little strand of coins up here next to this gaping hole of nothingness, but unbeknownst to me, that hole sucks you up! At one point I was at, and I kid you not, 99 coins in Dire Dire Docks. Not knowing about this suction hole, I see a little line of coins, get sucked up, and boom! I'm in front of the castle. Why does everything need to go into the front of the castle? Needless to say, I didn't play that game for the next few days after that. I was really angry. That aside, I can cleanly separate the levels into 3 distinct styles. There are the gauntlets, which really don't have any big open areas and just focus on individual challenges, like Lethal Lava Land and Rainbow Ride, the water levels, which has a whopping 3 in this category, being Dire Dire Docks, Jolly Roger Bay, and Wet Dry World, and what I'm calling the box gardens, which are just giant open areas to go around in, like Cool Cool Mountain, Bob on Battlefield, and Tiny Huge Island. Can you tell the ones I'm gonna absolutely shit on? If you guessed the box gardens, you'd be incorrect because the gauntlet levels can go jump off a tall mountain because they all suck so much. These levels, especially Tick-Tock Clock, suck so hard. It, being one of the final levels in the game, said that yeah, they can handle bullshit, but the developers were debating back and forth and questioning how much bullshit to put in when Miyamoto himself came and said, yes, fuck it, put it all in. So in one world, we got conveyor belts, pendulums, rotating platforms, rotating blocks, tiny walking spaces, cages, jutting out platforms, asymmetrical rotating platforms, a womp, a large gap, vertical level schemes, fucking Walter. I named this guy Walter because he was always out to get me when I tried to go up the pole. And that's another thing to add. I kid you not, the level design in this stage sucks. And honestly, I could go through a myriad of reasons why each level sucks and the other levels too. Rainbow Ride is slow as hell and barely qualifies as a world. Cool Cool Mountain has slopes that make it impossible to go up certain ways. Tiny Huge Island is a pain in the ass to move around in as Small Mario on the big side. Whomp's Fortress is stupid about star placement, and actually, that's a really good point to bring up in all of this. The stars. I assume since you're watching this, you've at least seen gameplay of Mario 64. If not, here, let me show you a star found in the second level of the game. This star is called Blast Away at the Wall. Sounds like you have to shoot yourself at a wall with a star on it, right? Welp. That's not the case, as you have to shoot yourself at this very random ass corner with no indication of where you have to shoot. And some stars are very similar if you want this in terms of stupidity. It doesn't really get that much better. Tall Mountain, my favorite level in the game, for some reason has a painting in the side of the mountain that takes you to a slide level. It's not marked at all, it's just a regular side of the wall in this mountain, and poof, there it goes. Big Boo's Haunt has a memory puzzle in a random wing of the mansion, and the camera is so piss poor that it doesn't give you good perception at all, most likely to your detriment. But then again, there's an issue with the camera. Honestly, I'm getting really tired of being angry. I am never this angry, but I don't know, Mario 64 really wants to bring it out of me. I can't say that all the levels are bad, honestly. Some have their redeeming factors. I think that Bob-omb Battlefield is great at introducing you to the language of Mario 64. Jolly Roger Bay legitimately transforms the stage after getting the first star. In Lethal Lava Land, it's a thrill to scale up the inside of a volcano, no matter how easy it is. There are some redeeming factors to them all, but my issue stems from the way the actual levels are designed themselves. Some geometry just doesn't want to work for you, and that's why I hate Gauntlet style levels so much. If and or when you make a mistake, you don't really have a little safety cushion you can reliably get back to. Tick-Tock Clock has a giant pit, Rainbow Ride has you fall from the sky, and Lethal Lava Land has lava. I will say, however, there is one amazing level in the game, but it's not even really a level. It's the hub world. Peach's castle is amazing. There's virtually nothing wrong with it once you get hang of the controls. I saw a video from Design Doc, great YouTuber by the way, and he really outlined how amazing Peach's castle is. TLDR, Peach's castle treats you like a big kid and makes everything not only doable without a guide, but introduces amazing concepts that play around with the perception of entering levels. The first floor has Bob-omb Battlefield, Cool Mountain, Womp's Fortress, and Jolly Roger Bay, all in traditional paintings. But after that, they really screw with you how you can get into levels. Shifting Sandland is at a dead end of a basement. Tall Mountain is in a teeny tiny painting. The water level in Wet Dry World is dictated how high you can jump into the painting. I never even knew about that until I watched the video and then subsequently tried it. There's a lot I could say about Peach's castle, but nothing about it what I'd say would really differ from what Design Doc had said, so if you want to check out the video, it's in the iCard in the top right corner. And if you want examples of bad level design that goes against everything Peach's castle stands for, look no further than the Bowser levels. It's really poetic in a way if you really think about it. Bowser levels are horseshit. For one, they are exclusively Gauntlet-style level designs with very narrow platforms in some instances. And yeah, I know that they're supposed to be the big challenges, but having such a radical departure from mostly open level design, especially in the early game, pisses me off because of how difficult it is for me to adjust to it. And I said this early on, but god damn, these aren't polished at all. That first Bowser level has that funny haha platform that I kept dying off of because of Luigi's controls. The second one has some troubles with depth perception and some poorly placed platforms, and the third one introduces these gravity-defying walkways as well as some obstacles that seem unavoidable, like a piranha plant that shows up at the beginning and a Whomp that guards a linearly small hallway. Out of the three, I do prefer the second Bowser level purely because of how good I was at it. It also helps that I was on a call with a friend of mine, and that definitely helped lighten the mood. But that also leaves Bowser's boss battles, and they are all the same. Grab his tail, spin him right round, baby, right round, and hit the bombs. Honestly, I hate these because of how imprecise the controls are, and when I'm sure I spun it in the right way that would leave a direct path from Bowser to the bombs, he just goes off the cliff and comes right back. I mean, just look at the footage here, I'm really struggling with this one. Sure, I know there are people who could do it first try, but seeing as I couldn't do it across both of my playthroughs, I really just digress. But with that, that's all I really have to say on the level design, so let's wrap it up with the objectively worst part of Mario 64, the camera. Fuck the camera, I hate it so fucking much. It is legitimately one of the worst cameras I have ever seen, and there have been quite a few contenders. Yeah, I know it's one of the first to pioneer it, and yeah, I know it's a bit crude, but riddle me this. When is it ever okay to restrict camera movement in an open area? Because that is exactly what happens in some of these levels. Bob-omb Battlefield, Tick-Tock Clock, Snowman's Land, Wet Dry World, and even more restrictor camera movement. The only area that I can recall not having these limitations outside the Bowser levels is Rainbow Ride. Rainbow Ride! Imagine that. In other levels, if I couldn't get the right camera angle I wanted, I would have to legit go the other way around. And even then, it doesn't always work. The camera is abysmal. The only saving grace it has is that the fact it's a somewhat physical entity in the form of camera Lakitu, but even then, that's not really saying much. In enclosed spaces like this area in Big Boo's Haunt, having a fixed camera is pretty good, but honestly, I think that Big Boo's Haunt was one of the only areas I didn't really have camera trouble. But in other areas, namely Tick Tock Clock, Tiny Huge Island, and Hazy Maze Cave, they could be a huge bother. All three of these areas have really one thing in common, being that there was a lot of areas that are obscured by walls at specific angles, like here and here. The camera itself is a hindrance most of the time. I get that it was programmed for the C buttons on the N64 controller, but seeing as I'm playing this on the 3D All-Stars pack, which has enhanced visuals and textures, I would have at least hoped for the camera to be not as intrusive as it was. In conclusion, I really wanted to like Mario 64, I really did. I heard a lot of great things about the game, I've seen playthroughs of it, I've seen randomizers, I've seen speedruns. But when actually getting to play it, especially in the year 2020, it's not fun because of how everything was just stacked against me in terms of controls, in terms of level design, in terms of the camera. Everything just wanted me to fail, and I hated that. I really hope to have highlighted the reasons why Mario 64 pissed me the hell off so much. There could have been so much more for me to talk about. Hell, this is actually the third time around that I'm trying to make this video, but I think I summed up everything I hate really well. So with that, thank you so much for watching. What do you think of this? Am I crazy or am I actually making sense? Thank you so much for watching. I will see y'all next time. Keep on crack-a-lackin'.